Let's talk about Medea. And the fact that Medea being messy, I think Medea tired of hiding in the closet, and now she want to let her freak flag fly. And all these lawsuits is the end result of the freakiness. So the other day we did break the news on the show because I was on a live when this story broke about Tyler Perry getting hit by a second person for SA inappropriate conduct or whatever. Because Tyler Perry shitting where he eating, and which is at the job. Where Derek Dixon hit him with over a $200 million lawsuit. This young man, Mario, is hitting him with a what do you call it? He's hitting him with a $77 million lawsuit. So let's get into that story, and then I got clips and things that we're gonna get to with this whole situation. So Mario Rodriguez, who had an acting role in Boo, a Medea Halloween movie I haven't seen, by the way, because I don't particularly care for them Chitlin Circuit movies, allegedly contacted Perry in August to say he was struggling financially amid unspecified health issues. Because here's the thing, now everybody was like, oh yeah, I go trying to take another black man down. It was like, well, wait a minute, if said black man with said money wasn't out here doing inappropriate stuff, there would be no reason to try to take a black man down. And there's a lot of black wealthy people that haven't been taken down. But anytime y'all want to come up in here with that narrative, y'all get on my root canal nerve with that narrative. And like, y'all trying to take a black man down. Well, if said black man wasn't being messy, what would we need to take him down for? So yeah. Speaking of which, I got receipts. So I do got the text messages. Hold on as I pull those up. Because, y'all be acting like people just be pulling stuff out their ass. But I was like, nope. I come with a receipt. So, yeah. So there's one of the texts. He said, brother, where art thou? No, brother, I haven't been feeling okay, confused, and a little nauseous. I got blood work, thinks it's my teeth. I know it's none of your business. IDK, what do I know? I promise you, where are the punctuations up in here? I promise you I would never ask you for anything, but if it is what I think it is, I don't think I could do it on my own because I barely pay my bills. Or is he trying to say I can barely pay my bills? Because I'm like, you don't pay your bills. Well, how you surviving if you're not paying your bills? But I think he was saying I can barely pay my bills because, at one point, Mario, before he was discovered by Tyler Perry, because remember the first one he discovered, Derek Dixon, he was a cater waiter. And now he was using the cater waiting facility as his personal little OnlyFans playground, like his little grinder situation, like how he trying to pluck young men from obscurity and promising them things just for a little rub and tug. And that's what it was coming across. That's what Derek Dixon was saying. And now is with this young man, Mario, he want to get a little rub and tug by promising him, oh, you ain't ever got to worry about your financial situation. And my thing is this, if somebody goes and lays down the groundwork and says, well, you don't ever have to worry about finances and all this other stuff, and then you trying to say it's a money grab, well, you giving me permission to grab your money if you're offering to pay for certain things. So I can't have the money. And now that the money is drying up and you're not keeping up your end of the bargain, I'm trying to hit you up via text message with sidebar. Why is nobody questioning the fact of how this been? This is second person that got Tyler's personal phone number. Now, if I'm a person who's a mogul and running my own empire, none of you bitches will have my number. You're going through my assistant. So if you need to get whatever needs to be done or whatever the case is, you have your people call my people and we'll deal with it. We'll meet somewhere in the middle. I'm not giving you my number. There's people I'm close to barely have my fucking number. So I'm going to give it to some stranger unless we fucking, which hence this is all coming up in this situation. So I found that weird. Nobody's bringing that part up. But it's a money grab, right? But how he get the personal number when you an employee? First of all, you was what? Extra number 10 in Boo? Like you was background material. How background material get the number? But I was gonna say Taraji probably didn't got the number, but she did. She gotta have the number because she was the only one that was getting a real salary from working with Tyler. And if y'all notice, and shout out to Rob Shooter for this, he pointed out also that with all this going on, if this is not true and his lawyers are doing what needs to be done, because they're on the payroll, so of course they're gonna try to clean up whatever the case is and be like, yeah, this is a money grab, blah 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 blah. Where's Oprah? She real quiet. Where's Whoopi? And you know Whoopi defends the worst of the worst. We've seen that happen over the years with her on The View. She's far more problematic people she's defended on that damn show. And she got a studio named after her. Where's Meghan Markle? And you know I can't deal with her and that husband of hers. Well, the husband I'm not that irritated by. Meghan Markle irritates my entire spirit. Who's the other one that be all team Pastor Perry? Where's Swallowed? Where's TD Jakes at? You real quiet. I was gonna say where Diddy in jail, so he can't talk. So all these people that's supposed to be in his corner, his friends or whatever, where y'all at? Why y'all quiet all of a sudden? Yeah, Oprah, Gail. Then Gail just defends somebody who was problematic not too long ago. She real quiet today. But we'll get to that article where Rob Shooter to my his A-list friends haven't been talking. Who he said? He said, yeah, Prince Harry, we haven't heard from them. We haven't heard from Oprah. We haven't heard from the Obamas. So where y'all at? You know, y'all be so quick to come out with the public support. Y'all quiet today. Quieter than a church mouse. So that's one of the texts that you see there. Then we got the other one. And he said, just know that I love you and I thank you for everything. I appreciate you to the moon. I got my Mexican ass. Oh, you got my Mexican ass. Oh, I didn't know he was Mexican. Tyler got a type. You got my Mexican ass out of a lot of bad places, and I just want to tell you thank you. I can't buy you anything, but I just want to tell you, well, yeah, because when you're a billionaire, you got everything, especially when you don't be paying people for nothing. Writers, people that work behind the scenes. You got people wearing them old $2 wigs from Shein, and they was dragging your ass over that. When you don't want to pay nobody because you want to hoard all the coins for yourself, when you get the man that has it all, the only thing you can give him is your pussy. Or a little rubbing tug, which he was trying to get. And two things can be true at the same time. People need to realize this. It's like, yeah, maybe it is a money grab. And there are a lot of men out here who are gay for pay, where it's like, yeah, they work as personal trainers, whatever the case is, but a lot of them have OFs on the side, or a lot of them are into sex work, or whatever the case is, and are willing to go along and do whatever, so that way they can be taken care of, because a lot of these men who are not comfortable within their sexuality, live their truth and live their life. And people like, you know, they'll take advantage of whoever, however they want to get it. And I know that some people are like, but Tyler can get anybody he wants in the world. That's not what gets some men off. It's not about, they know they can get access to any piece of ass under the sun, especially when you got the money to be able to buy it. Because quiet as it's kept, Tyler ain't getting that shit if he was Joe Schmo from down the street. You got to pay for the pussy in order to get some. Since you was out here claiming you was a top when you was having that conversation. Well, it's not even alleged. We read it with Derek Dixon. So yeah, you gotta, you know, it's not enough when you could, it's like, yeah, I have access to all the most beautiful men in the world, but it's more fun for me if I could go after the type of dudes that ain't gonna give me the time of day, that I could use this power to get, you know, of control or power or whatever case. And we don't get into the thing about the whole Goodwill Hunting type of read, or how he would use his sexual abuse trauma in order to go after certain men. So this is a sign of an abused man abusing other men. And yeah, I'm sure there's been a lot of men that he's done this with that are probably scared to come out and say something. How many times we talked about on the show Christian Keys with that whole situation with him and the talk around that, and Christian Keys alluding to somebody who's a very powerful person doing whatever, and then threatened to go live with the team, talking sideways the whole situation. We all put two and two together, and who named it all popped in our heads and out of our mouths? We say allegedly Tyler Perry? And then right after that story went viral, and some of the people that knew the tea was talking about it, but not mentioning the name, but we all kind of knew who it was. Y'all ain't heard from Christian Keys since, right? Because so-and-so got on that phone and hit that Venmo up or that Zelle and gave him that coin. So let's not act obtuse because your favorite is being dragged on the docket. It's being brought before the court, and we see the tea for what it is. Because if y'all out here thinking that Tyler Perry is straight, then I got quite a few mansions in Boca to sell your ass, and I don't work in real estate. So yeah, he said all of that, and I think that's all we got on that for now. But there is this one thing I want to show y'all. Um, so yeah, and then of course, then we had Perry's attorney basically trying to say, I said it before and I will say it again. This is nothing but a $77 million money grab scam. Everything is a damn money grab scam because your client out here being sloppy. And now Rodriguez's attorney, Jonathan Delshad, did not immediately respond to our request for comment. Rodriguez filed his lawsuit against Perry, as y'all know, in LA Superior Court, accusing him of multiple instances of SA. Where was I? Oh, so according to the suit, Rodriguez was approached by a trainer at the Equinox Gym in 2015 about meeting with Perry to discuss a possible acting role as a very good-looking college student in a movie that later became Boo, Madea Halloween. And also, didn't the Boondocks bring this up about Tyler Perry, where he had all the muscle queens standing by, well, the muscle dudes standing behind him, and he was doing the casting, and you saw this old man with his gut all out, and he was auditioning for him, but he was surrounded by all these half-naked men. Boondocks been telling it. Boondocks as well as South Park. Those are the two animated shows that always be telling the tea. And y'all always thought like, oh, it was just jokes. No, trust and believe, Hollywood is this big. And the words be wording in the circle. And y'all just now hearing about it. But there's always been word around Tyler Perry in this industry, allegedly, for years. You know, I love that word allegedly. For obvious reasons. So now, after auditioning for and accepting a part, and you already know, like, it's some of them actors, when y'all look at them, they be fine as hell, right? But couldn't act their way out of a paper bag. I wonder why. And if you're really thinking about it, it's like money grab for what? Like Tyler Perry, you ain't making people dreams come true. Yeah, you making dreams come true in your little circle. But my thing is this. I'm measuring my career. Can I go from a Tyler Perry movie and actually go and do a Jordan Peele movie or a Ryan Coogler movie or star in a movie directed by, Denis Villeneuve or Christopher Nolan? Can I go from him to them? Because that's when you know you made it. Not when you're doing some damn Chitlin Circuit film that cost $12 million to make and it was only shot in 2 days. And you could tell by the choppy ass editing, the bad writing, and the shitty acting how much energy and work went into the old Chitlin Circuit movies that y'all like. So now, auditioning for and accepting the part, Rodriguez was allegedly invited to Perry's LA home to have drinks and watch a movie in his theater. Perry allegedly put his hands on Mr. Rodriguez's legs and began rubbing his inner thigh next to his finger, Rodriguez alleged, claiming that after he rejected the advances, Perry said to him, man, if you would just come. I don't know if he meant C-O-M-E or C-U-M, but they said come. I would take care of you for the rest of your life and you wouldn't have to worry about anything. I know you'll come around. So you're basically using this whole situation. Creating a casting couch in your house. You're promising this guy that if you just let me do things, if you let me play with your dick, if you let me, do all kinds of whatever, because I can't come to terms with being a whole rhymes with maggot because of the type of empire that I built on the backs of the church community who don't see it for the gays, number one. And so now I got to play up this whole situation because I can't piss them off. But Tyler, you need to learn this. They already know. Just like everybody knows Will's a whole rhymes with maggot. just how everybody's like, we already know. You don't have to come out. Child, they know. I can tell you there's a lot of people within my family who are church-going people. They know, child. They know you a full-on woman. They know you a queen. Not a butch queen, but a queen. You're not fooling nobody. I don't care how many times you put on that wig and that ugly ass sundress and start with your little one-liners and throw Jesus out there. They know. You ain't fooling nobody. You've been clocked. Like your soul. So, yeah, so there's that. So now, once filming for a Boo Madea Halloween wrapped in 2016, Perry allegedly invited Rodriguez to his home to discuss other acting opportunities. According to the suit, Perry allegedly grabbed Rodriguez's left leg along his finger, after which Rodriguez left. Now, in 2018, Perry allegedly invited Rodriguez to Maestro's Steakhouse in Beverly Hills to discuss a role in his series, The Oval. That Oval show was really popular. I wonder how many other men he was accosting on that show. Because remember, Derek Dixon was from The Oval, where he did a whole lot of episodes. And then I guess when he no longer wanted to comply with the situation, that's when the lawsuits came in. So this is what happens when you shit where y'all lead. When y'all be up in there doing the thing and you trying to use your little job as your little casting couch, This is what happens. And you promising these men the world. If you would just let me whatever, I'll take care of you for the rest of your life. You're using money to be able to do whatever you want with these men. And then when the money dries up, when you stop paying for the ass, because that's clearly what you're doing. That's the only way you getting these Derek Dixons and these Mario Rodriguez. And there's no shade. Let's just call it what it is. So you using your money as a way to get these men. And then you mad because because once the money dries up and they're like, okay, well, I'm struggling here. I'm gonna let you do whatever I want. And I'm sure there's some stuff in the middle where he probably allowed it. Not saying that it was intentional, whatever the case is. I mean, who knows? But if you throwing the money out there, and I realize that this is the biggest opportunity, I'm not really getting no roles, but okay, I'll let him rub and tug on a little bit, and he's throwing money in my direction. He gave me $5,000 here and the money a little there, and I just use that towards whatever I got to do, and I can survive for a couple of months on however much money he makes. There's a lot of people that do that, whether it's in the studio or a regular damn job where they bosses be doing whatever, and when that shit dries up and y'all don't want to do what needs to be done, and if you're not going to give me what I've been letting you do, and you're not holding up your end of the bargain, I'm taking your ass to court. And so I'm going to hit you with the $70-something million. And people are like, why are they talking about it now? Why are you asking for this much? Why the fuck not? Pay me for my pain. And like, it goes both ways. So you owe it. And this is what irritates my people. Stop protecting predators. They'll always be so quick to jump on the side of the predator. Like, are people fucked up in the brain? Like, whatever happened? I think it's all that goddamn lead that y'all was inhaling over the years of y'all growing up. That's why a lot of y'all lack actual common sense. So yeah, this is all the stuff that's going on right now. But one of the things I do want to get to, oh wait, let me play Mario's video, like his thing of what he said. And then we're gonna play this thing from what do I have? From Law and Crime. Oh, let me tell you, I gagged when I was listening to that. And I'm gonna change the speed because I don't want to be here all day with that, because it's like 23 minutes. So maybe we'll be able to cut it in half with the amount of speed. But this play goes, and I might have to pause in between, so don't get mad when I get around to that. So I may have to pause in between, to give my commentary. But let's hear what Mario had to say via his Instagram. And this is before he even admitted that it was Pastor Perry that touched the ding-a-ling without his permission. Or maybe it was with his permission, but it's like, we said what we said before. But let's play the clip and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Hello, everyone. Just checking in with you guys about the news that I mentioned a couple days ago. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about sexual assault and harassment and why the people stay silent. For a long time, guys, I didn't want to say anything, and I wanted to tell you guys why I didn't want to say anything. But when it happened to me, I felt ashamed. I was scared because of the judgment and the questions that people were going to start asking, almost like they were going to blame me for just being there. Well, I felt all of that, guys, when a very big director, a very seriously powerful person that everybody knows, invited me over to his house to talk about roles and upcoming things that he was writing. I was telling myself, like, man, like all of my dreams are coming true right now. Like my opportunities at my front door right now. So much excitement going through my body. And then, guys, it happens. My boundaries were crossed. You feel like this person feels like they got power over you because of the situation and the opportunity that presented itself in front of you. And then and how fear can somewhat keep you quiet and keep you silent. Well, I stayed quiet for much too long. And I just want to say I'm really sorry, man, because if I would have spoken up sooner, I could have saved somebody that this probably happened to after me. I just want to say sorry for that, whoever that may be. It could have stopped with me if I would have said something. But I do apologize, and I'm speaking up now and getting it out there and talking about it, most importantly, then so be it.
Well, look, Derek Dixon came out and said what he had to say first, and maybe that was the courage that you had to be able to say what you need to say. And you said it on December 13th, and then a couple of, was maybe a week or two later, is when your story came out. But of course, you had people jumping in the timeline to, well, why did you accept 2 payments of $5,000 after being essayed? And then somebody goes and says, in 2014, after you got the part for Boo, you went to his house and he groped you in his theater room. Then in 2016, you again went to his house, touched you again, and you left. Then again, you went to it. So you basically, it sounds like you're victim blaming. That's like you went to his house so many times knowing full and well the things that you was doing. Well, people also need to realize it's not easy being an actor. There's a lot of people that get inappropriately touched, whether it be a Tyler Perry or somebody else. Y'all said the same shit when a lot of these women was coming out against Harvey Weinstein. I'm not saying that what Tyler Perry was doing at the level of a Harvey Weinstein, we don't know, because we haven't heard from other victims who have said that he's done way worse. But y'all was still out here, even with Diddy and all this other stuff, knowing all the evidence, all the things he was coming out, there was some of y'all still out here windmilling hard for him. So I don't even have time to be trying to articulate or even break down things for the slow, for the mentally challenged that sit up in here and always want to defend victims. If that's what you want to do, go somewhere else, because I don't want y'all up in here watching this. But if y'all gonna be doing so, with all that being said, maybe there's 2 things that's true at the same time. Maybe it was like, yeah, I saw opportunity, my dream's about to come true. I went and this mogul is like really interested in me, and I'm gonna work on whatever we're working on. But then now it's becoming this sexual thing. And who knows? Maybe it's just like, oh, if I don't comply, then he's going to go and run and tell people, don't work with this person because they're difficult to work with. Isn't that the same accusation that Monique said, that Tyler Perry had said about you? She said, I've never worked with that man a day in his life, in my life. And he went around telling people all this other stuff about how I'm difficult to work with because I wouldn't do what needed to be done for Precious. And it's like, I'm not going around doing no shit for free. I got a whole family that I got to feed. And I'm the breadwinner. So my husband is my manager. I got to pay him. I got kids I got to support. But you want me to run around here tap dancing for these motherfuckers for no check? And I got to pay all this out of my pocket? I'm not doing that. So now people have pegged her as difficult. And she's been going on saying so much of the stuff about Tyler Perry over the years. And y'all be telling her, give it a rest. But I feel like if you have it within yourself to speak up, speak up. And who knows there may be some things that he's leaving out. Maybe it was a situation where he looked at it as like, you know what? Maybe some people saying this is, squeeze as much juice as you can out the lemon. Yeah, you're not interested in him sexually, but let him touch upon you a little bit, and he'll throw a little money your way, and that'll take care of you for a while. Just go along with it. But of course, if you're doing all that, you'll say, oh, well, you wanted it. You was playing it up. There's a lot of people that do that. But it still don't negate the fact that Tyler out here purposely being predatorial towards other people. You ain't never heard him do that to nobody with a vagina between their legs. You hearing about it with all these men. So that's the funny part for me. So now, without further ado, let's get into this thing, because I want y'all to hear all of this. Maybe this will convince you after watching this full-fledged video. I'm using fair use on this. Please don't flag me, law and crime. Because that be happening sometimes with these videos when you're using their stuff. So yeah, I want y'all to hear this. I may be pausing in between if I got to throw in some commentary, but bear with me. So yeah, we'll come back and we'll talk. Okay, please hold.
Well, I stayed quiet for much too long. I could have saved somebody that this probably happened to after me, but I do apologize. And I'm speaking up now.
Now a second man, model Mario Rodriguez, is suing Tyler Perry, accusing the actor of sexual assault and alleging a disturbing pattern of manipulation. And his lawsuit alleges something deeply specific, that Perry allegedly reenacted a famous Goodwill Hunting therapy scene in order to target him with past trauma. This lawsuit also names Lionsgate, accusing the studio of enabling Perry's alleged behavior. We have the filing. It includes alleged text messages we're seeing for the first time. We have the complaint. We're going to break it all down for you right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Have you ever gotten that call, the one that promises to change your whole life? The big break, the dream opportunity, something you have been waiting for your entire life, right? For one model in Los Angeles, that call reportedly came from a Hollywood billionaire, allegedly promising fame, a movie role, a future, opportunities. But instead, he claims this all turned into a nightmare of manipulation, unwanted advances, and sexual assault over a period of time. Now, the man on the other end of that phone, familiar name if you've been following us here on Sidebar, we're talking about Tyler Perry, the filmmaker, the producer behind Medea, massive entertainment empire, and the person accusing him now is model Mario Rodriguez. He is now suing Tyler Perry. Now, the reason that I say this is because as we go into these shocking claims and the potential legal strength of these claims, I mean, we're talking allegations of sexual assault by Perry, followed by something that I think is going to make your jaw drop. This is not the first time we have talked about Tyler Perry recently. No, we covered Tyler Perry here before, back in June. Another actor, Derek Dixon, filed a $260 million lawsuit in California accusing Perry of essentially quid pro quo sexual harassment and assault. Now, Perry's legal team, they fought back hard. They called it a failed money grab, arguing the case should be thrown out or moved to Georgia. That battle is still playing out, by the way. But now Perry is facing a second, arguably strikingly similar kind of lawsuit. And that's what we want to go into. Now, this new one was filed just days ago, literally on Christmas Day, December 25th, 2025 in California Superior Court. And this is brought again by Mario Rodriguez, a model, an actor who had this very small role in Perry's 2016 film called Boo, a Medea Halloween. And this lawsuit doesn't just name Tyler Perry. It also seemingly targets his production company and Lionsgate, the studio that distributes Tyler Perry's film. So accusing him essentially of knowing about his alleged behavior, enabling it, and benefiting from him. So by the way, from a legal point of view, from a lawsuit point of view, you usually go after the entities as that may be where the money, the assets are for purposes of liability and collection. What are the key allegations? What's the main theme here? Rodriguez claims that Perry used the promise of roles, a Hollywood career, to groom him, make sexual advances, touch him, and sexually abuse him. And the suit describes an alleged pattern of isolating him, prying into past trauma, escalating physical contact, and explicit propositions. But the details in the complaint, they are very, very specific. They are also graphic, and they follow a disturbing script, for lack of a better word.
I just had to pause because I'm like, how the whole time I just realized my lower third wasn't the right one. I was in there doing a whole Tyler Perry story, and it was under the Jordan Peele banner. So my fault with that one. You know, it's been a minute. I'm tired. So anyway, let's get back to the. I just had to acknowledge that.
Okay, and that's what we want to go into. We want to go through this story and see if there's a strength to it, strength to these claims, strength to the narrative. So I'm going to walk you through the complaint, basically page by page. And I'm going to read you directly from key sections so you can hear the language that's used. So the document starts by setting the stage. The second paragraph reads, quote, defendant Tyler Perry is a producer-director who wields immense power in the movie industry. Unfortunately, Perry uses his power to abuse and sexually assault people who hope to secure roles in his movies. Perry's type are those who have been victims of childhood traumas in the past. Plaintiff Mario Rodriguez was one of his victims. Now, that's key language because I said at the time, I remember this, when Dixon had filed his lawsuit against Tyler Perry, I wondered, would this lead to more accusers to come forward, right? Was Derek Dixon just a one-off making these allegations, or could this start more people coming forward? It's a two-edged sword when you think about it, right? Perry's position could be, as soon as one person sues, this will open the floodgates for more false accusations. The other side, assuming all the allegations are true, takes one person to come forward against a wealthy, powerful person for others to feel safe to do so. We've seen this back and forth in a lot of high-profile sexual misconduct cases. And I will say, too, this is important to note, Rodriguez is represented by the same lawyer who brought Derek Dixon's claims. We're talking about Jonathan Delshot. We'll get more on that a little bit later. But the core allegation is established immediately. We're talking about an abuse of power targeting vulnerable people. Now, how did Rodriguez enter into Perry's orbit, right? Let's start there. So the complaint says that in 2015, a trainer at an Equinox gym out in Los Angeles approached Rodriguez and told him, quote, that defendant Tyler Perry wanted to meet Mr. Rodriguez and to talk about offering him an acting role. And the complaint alleges that Perry called him that same day. The filing allegedly quotes Perry from that call, saying about the potential role, quote, you know, Mario, I'm not a bad person to know and have in your corner. And the suit states that Rodriguez auditions, quickly gets the part. It reads, clearly the audition was only a formality given Mr. Perry's position of power and his personal desire to have Mr. Rodriguez work for him. Okay, let's stop right there. So first, if Rodriguez can establish that Perry called him and that this person approached him at Equinox, you wonder if that person would testify if they're available. That would be key. It does become a question. How does Rodriguez remember, essentially verbatim, what Perry had said? Did he document it in some way? This call is probably not recorded. But an argument could be, you know, it's unusual for Tyler Perry to set all this up, have a communication with a minor player in a film. Usually a casting director or a producer would handle that. But I don't know, maybe there's an argument that this is Perry's style. He has ownership on all aspects. He wants to speak to everybody that's involved in the cast. The other way to look at it is this is unusual. And Perry targeted Rodriguez and only got on the part for his own personal reasons. Now, how can they establish the phone call other than through the testimony of Rodriguez? Maybe there's phone records, but obviously it wouldn't be a printout of their conversation. It would rather be just this call took place at that time. But again, we're talking about, 10 years ago. So then the complaint describes things escalating during this solo visit that Rodriguez made to Perry's Los Angeles home. This is key. Now, Rodriguez makes clear that while all of this is going on, he's just really excited for this acting opportunity and to be working with Tyler Perry. So anyway, he allegedly goes over. They have drinks. They go to Tyler Perry's theater room. Now, first, the complaint details this instruction from Perry. He allegedly told Mr. Rodriguez to keep his cell phone in the kitchen because, quote, there are cameras everywhere and they're always listening. By the way, if there really are cameras in his house, is that something that could be obtained through discovery and you can have him on camera saying that? I don't know. In the theater, this is important. The suit alleges that Perry began asking deeply personal questions about Rodriguez's childhood and traumas, and Rodriguez became emotional. The suit alleges, quote, Mr. Perry told him, you have a lot of trauma in you, and believe it or not, we have a lot in common. Mr. Perry told Mr. Rodriguez to stand up and said, come here, man, let me hug you. Mr. Perry hugged Mr. Rodriguez and said, it's not your fault. Now listen to this, quote, in the moment, Mr. Rodriguez could not help but feel that Mr. Perry was trying to reenact the famous scene between Matt Damon and Robin Williams from the acclaimed 1997 movie Good Will Hunting. Now, if you haven't seen Good Will Hunting, first of all, you should. It's a great movie. But if you haven't, it's a very famous therapy scene where Robin Williams' character repeatedly tells Matt Damon's character, who had been abused in the past, that it's not your fault, pulling him into a hug. There's a really big emotional breakdown. And it's meant to be this moment of deep vulnerability and release, which is why you're having this alleged comparison. It stands out. And I will say that level of unique specificity, that can arguably help with credibility if this goes to trial and Rodriguez takes the stand. It's like so strange and so specific. Could he really make this up? Maybe, maybe not. But you go from there. The complaint describes this encounter taking a turn. This is when, according to Rodriguez, it turns physically invasive, with Perry then allegedly rubbing Rodriguez's shoulders and his chest and making comments. And when Rodriguez sits back down, he claims that Perry sat next to him and began rubbing his inner thigh. Now, Rodriguez claims that he then got up and excused himself, but the suit quotes, or allegedly quotes, Perry as being persistent, saying, just relax. I promise I'm a good guy to know and have in your corner. You just need to relax and stop being so tense. Man, if you just come, I would take care of you for the rest of your life and you wouldn't have to worry about anything. And I know you'll come around. Now, he claims that he ultimately left Perry's house, went home, but what happens next? So he says he goes to Atlanta to film in January 2016. And he says that Perry never sexually assaulted him or attacked him on set, which, by the way, also potentially goes to an issue of credibility, right? For someone who may be questioning Rodriguez and questioning if this is true, you could argue, well, if he's claiming that he was assaulted by Tyler Perry, wouldn't he want to embellish every detail he can? But to say that it started only at this house with his leg being touched, nothing further happening, that nothing happened on set, does it help with credibility, right? Maybe. Now, after the film wrapped, this is when Rodriguez accuses Perry of allegedly continuing to invite Rodriguez over, saying how he might be a good fit for future roles that he's writing. Now, Rodriguez claims that during these visits, they would talk about work, but then also personal things. And from here, he claims that Perry allegedly made sexual comments to him and even asked if he had sex with another man. And then, when Rodriguez apparently said that he was having a baby with his girlfriend, and that Perry allegedly sensed how stressed out Rodriguez was about his financial situation, Perry allegedly said, quote, if you would just give in to me, I would take care of you. You would never have to worry about anything again.
So there you have it with that. Now I'm gonna play the rest of it, but he's saying like, well, you understood he was in a financial bind. He was struggling. He was confiding in Tyler because of what was going on in his personal life, whatever. And he's like, oh yeah. So now this is how predators work. When they hear like people are down on a situation or there's stuff going on in their personal life, it's like, well, yeah, you got the money and wherewithal to be able to buy whatever it is you need to buy. And so now you're looking at this situation. It's like, oh yeah, well, if you just give it and let me, or do a little rub and tug. Y'all know I have to get a little creative with you too. Do a little yum yum bouncy bouncy, or a little slurpy slurpy, or whatever the case is. If a sloppy toppy, whatever the hell you want to call it. If you just give in and let me do whatever I need to do, just so I can get my rocks off, and then of course kneel on some rice and pray to Jesus for forgiveness, because it's so wrong being a homosexual. I can't be a full-on homosexual, so I gotta pray the gay away. Which, quiet as it's kept, we all know that's impossible. Gay is what it is. If people got a problem accepting the fact because they said the Bible said, child by. First of all, homosexuality existed long before speech replaced sign language and before that book was written by man. So, yeah, definitely a baloney wash. Other than my theme song. And so I believe everything that has been going on with him, just like I believe what's going on with Derek, and I believe it will happen with Christian. But only time will tell whether all this, whatever happens. But yeah, I just want to play. I wanted to say that before I get back to the clip or the video, because it is a long one. We got about, how long is it? Oh, we 12 minutes in. So we got about another 10, 11 minutes before it's done. So, but yeah, so you were trying to use somebody's hardship as a way to get something for you out of a situation, and the man is not interested. But now him taking the money, that's what he's gonna have to explain that when he gets before a judge. They're gonna have to defend that if it goes to court, which I don't think it will. I'm having a strange feeling Tyler gonna end up settling, and it is what it is, kind of like he said it with Christian, allegedly. But let's get back to the clip and then we'll come back.
Side note, we don't know if this actually happened. The counter argument to this would be, Tyler Perry really said that in that specific language that could help your legal claims? Maybe, maybe not. Again, it's all going to come down to credibility and how can they back it up. But Perry also allegedly shared, and this is important, that he himself, quote, was sexually molested as a kid. And the complaint argues that he was using that shared trauma as a tactic to build trust before making more sexual advances. And then he claims that Tyler Perry sexually assaulted him, like allegedly grabbing his leg right by his private area and allegedly saying, it's all right. Now, there is no way to truly corroborate that, unless there are cameras in the home or it's just the testimony of Rodriguez. This is not like a rape case, right? We were talking about maybe DNA or forensics, even though that might be difficult from such a long time ago. But this is really, again, a question of credibility. Now, this is the next part. When Rodriguez claims that he refused these alleged sexual advances, he claims all the acting roles dried up. The suit states plainly, quote, because Mr. Rodriguez continually rejected Mr. Perry's sexual advances and assaults, Mr. Perry never hired him for Medea's Halloween 2, despite all their conversations for new roles for Rodriguez. Then we...
Which goes to explain why he probably went along in a situation why a lot of actors go along with assaults and stuff that happens on set, because if they say no, like I said before, you can be blacklisted. He could be like, oh, I don't want to work with this guy ever again. I'm not going to give you no parts. If you go out and try to audition for other people, Hollywood is, like I said, this big. So he can go around and make phone calls and say, oh, so-and-so is difficult to work with. Now, knowing full on well, you was the perpetrator in the beginning. My career's dried up. I can't get a job nowhere. And now I got to go and get a job at Whole Foods or whatever the case is to make ends meet. And I'm still struggling. So my dream, I wanted to come true. And I'm out here trying to pursue a career and a passion. But now it's been destroyed because some pervert can't come to terms that they like dick. And so because I'm not giving you what you want, now you want to ruin my damn career because you an asshole. And they like throwing the whole Jesus and God and all. You know what? There's a special place if this is true, there's a special place in hell for people like him. And they be the main ones, the ones that run up in them Christian circles. They be the biggest goddamn hypocrite. First of all, I didn't even know there was a part 2. Was there ever a part 2? He ain't coming out. He's banked too much on that empire for him to ever come back. Although, like I said, a lot of people he think that don't know. So you just wasting your damn time. But I just want to say that. So yeah, the roles drop. So when people say, why did you do it? Why? It's been explained. But of course, you're going to find some people that are going to bend themselves into some goddamn origami and still try to act like they don't get it. Even when the evidence has been sprayed out before you in front of an actual legal person who is breaking it all down for you in this video. This is why I'm playing this, because whereas I feel like I broke it down enough, like the Cliff Notes or whatever, but somebody who actually understands law and legality or something, I watch a lot of law stuff. That's how I'll be making sense of like trying to articulate it. But I wanted an actual attorney to be able to come up here and from this video be able to break it on down for y'all to understand the legality behind all of it. But anyway, let's get back to the video.
Go to this key moment, this key incident that allegedly happened. It's talked about in the complaint that allegedly happened in November of 2018. So after a dinner where Perry allegedly discussed a role for Rodriguez in the Oval show, the Oval series. By the way, Rodriguez said that he was reluctant to go to this dinner in the first place, but thought, you know what, this is a restaurant, it's a public place. He was thinking of his career. And that's important because if Rodriguez takes this to trial and is cross-examined by Perry's attorney about, you claim you're sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, why did you keep coming back if this were true? Well, now he would try to explain it. It's career advancement. I was trying to help my career. I was maybe hoping that this wouldn't happen again, that I'd have a safe place. I'm trying to think of my career. I'm trying to think of my family. Anyway, going back to this. After the dinner, Rodriguez claims that Perry invited him, again, over to his house. And by the way, there is a text exchange that's embedded in this complaint that arguably confirms this meetup at the house. There, the suit describes Perry allegedly making explicit sexual propositions. When Rodriguez goes to the kitchen, the suit alleges, quote, Mr. Perry followed Mr. Rodriguez to the kitchen. Then, Mr. Perry tightly hugged Mr. Rodriguez and repeatedly told him to, quote, hold on, while Mr. Perry tried to unbuckle Mr. Rodriguez's pants. And the complaint then states, it alleges, that Perry then grabbed Rodriguez in the genital area. And Rodriguez allegedly said no. He was able to struggle free. And then he apparently calls Uber to go home. And as he waits for his ride, the suit describes this alleged sequence, quote, Mr. Perry tried to apologize for his sexual assault, telling Mr. Rodriguez, hey, my bad, my bad. Mr. Perry, afraid of consequences for his sexual assaults, then stepped away for a minute, returned, and stuffed $5,000 into Mr. Rodriguez's pocket. So, from there.
So, for those of you who are slow, that was asking in the comments, not in these comments, because we got some rational people up in here, but in them other comments when I was reading on Mr. Rodriguez's Instagram, for those, well, why did you take $5,000? Tyler Perry shoved the money in his pocket to shut him up. That was hush money. So for those who are a little slow, and a little up too, because you ain't never seen $5,000 either in your account or ever in life, that's why he was able to, that's why he took the money, because that was supposed to be hush money. Pay me for my pain, I guess, and my silence. So that's why he did that. Let's get back to the video.
The complaint claims that the next month, Perry invited Rodriguez over again to his house, and there was another embedded conversation, text exchange, seemingly suggesting that. Now, I'm going to read you this next part verbatim from the complaint. I think it's important, quote, Mr. Rodriguez agreed to go over because Perry had made him believe that Perry was sorry for assaulting him. The $5,000 and reaching out back to him about the situation and making light of it was a sign of Perry's understanding of his guilt and of the mistake Perry made. Even though a lucid Rodriguez would be concerned about a worse assault, Rodriguez could not get past the potential of living his dream of being a movie star and the fame and fortune that would accompany him that was being dangled in front of him. And very, very important if he's cross-examined about why he kept going back. Now, Rodriguez claims, though, that while at Perry's house, Perry allegedly massaged his shoulders, gave him long hugs, talked about sexual things, and then sprinkled in some stuff about work. And he claims that he would leave the house before things escalated. From there, the suit claims, after another unwanted advance, namely allegedly forcing his hand on Perry's private area in 2018 or 2019, so this is a separate incident. Again, Rodriguez claims he went over to the house because this was his only way to break into the industry, and that Perry allegedly said they were going to talk about potential roles. It says, the complaint says, quote, Perry once again apologized and stuffed another $5,000 in cash in Mr. Rodriguez's pocket and sent him away. Now, after Rodriguez apparently finally cut off contact with Tyler Perry, the complaint includes these apparent text messages from June 2019 seemingly showing Perry's frustration. So if these are in fact messages between Perry and Rodriguez, okay, assuming that's what these are, Perry allegedly texts him, quote, I haven't heard from you. And when Rodriguez apologized, Perry allegedly responded, I deserve a text at least once a month. There's also alleged texts from Tyler Perry that say, good night, F off, wanted to give you much S, you never text unless something is going on. A text saying, no, you're busy, just saying hi is what all my friends do. And in the end, Rodriguez claims that he never got additional work from Tyler Perry. And the lawsuit claims that Rodriguez decided to come forward in 2025 with his allegations after learning of that similar lawsuit that was filed by actor Derek Dixon. In fact, and this is in the complaint, a friend allegedly texted Rodriguez about Dixon's lawsuit, and Rodriguez replied, quote, OS, he's at it again, when's he gonna learn? Where the friend responded, when he ends up like Diddy, referring to Sean Diddy Combs. Now, the final part of the complaint lays out the 4 legal claims, the causes of action here, what he's suing for. Sexual assault, sexual battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, all against Perry, and there is a 4th claim for negligent retention against Lionsgate. By the way, should be noted the timing of the suit. So it's filed right before 2026. And for example, under California law, you need to file a sexual assault lawsuit within 10 years from the date of the last act or attempted act. And while he describes an incident in 2019, remember, 2015 is when all of this allegedly started and traced back to that first alleged episode. So I would imagine in an abundance of caution, filing this right before 2026, probably how this suit can maybe go forward. That's just my 2 cents. Anyway, going back to that negligent retention claim. So the argument is that Lionsgate, right, this film distributor, which the suit claims hires and supervises Tyler Perry and benefits from his production of films, they knew or should have known of this alleged misconduct, that they failed to act, and they continued to financially benefit from their relationship with Tyler Perry. And this lawsuit is seeking damages reportedly totaling $77 million. Rodriguez claims that he has suffered PTSD, physical, psychological, emotional injuries, damage to his professional reputation, which, by the way, yes, could be substantiated by Rodriguez testifying about how he suffered. But sometimes in these lawsuits, you see medical professionals testifying, maybe an agent, a producer talking about reputational harm or what they observed, friends, family. But the harm suffered is essential for a damages calculation in a lawsuit. So that's the core narrative and the key excerpts as presented in this 28-page complaint. Now, I will say this, okay? In the days since this complaint was filed, there has been some activity. Both sides have responded publicly. So Tyler Perry's defense team, which is led by high-profile attorney Alex Spiro, has issued a categorical denial. That statement reads, having recently failed in another matter against Mr. Perry, the very same lawyer has now made yet another demand from more than a decade ago, which will also be a failed money grab. And this directly references the previous lawsuit filed by actor Derek Dixon, which is still in its early legal stages, apparently was moved from California to Georgia. And shortly after the lawsuit became public, Mario Rodriguez, the plaintiff here, posted a video addressing his choice to speak out. Listen to what he said.
Well, I stayed quiet for much too long. And I just want to say I'm really sorry, man, because if I would have spoken up sooner, I could have saved somebody that this probably happened to after me. I just want to say sorry for that, whoever that may be. It could have stopped with me if I would have said something. But I do apologize and I'm speaking.
Then a court of law. What do you think about
I had to fast forward because we already played that clip and we don't need to hear it again, but let me rewind a little bit.
The discovery process, as material is exchanged and evidence is exchanged, what could come out of trial, what could come out in the media. And whenever you think about a high-profile player like this, there's 2 things, right? There's obviously the lawsuit, there's the court of law, but then also the court of public opinion. The world of public opinion is a lot different than a court of law. The text messages that are being presented publicly, they could be more difficult ones to overcome or explain from a media perspective, from a PR perspective. Now, the problem for Rodriguez is this is an allegation. And unless he told others, immediately or over the years what allegedly happened to him, there was that friend that allegedly texted him the news of Dixon when that came out, maybe that person would come forward. But unless Rodriguez has some other definitive proof, it is essentially his word against Tyler Perry's. And him keeping contact with Tyler Perry and still coming over, that will have to be explained to a jury. It really comes down to that continuing conversation of power dynamics, the psychology of sexual assault, the Hollywood dynamic. It can get very, very complicated. But for Tyler Perry, again, these are just allegations and he's denying it. And Tyler Perry has a right to defend himself. So this is still in the early stages. We will see how that plays out and we'll keep a careful eye on it here on.
So yeah, so y'all pretty much got. I just wanted to show y'all that video breaking on down, so y'all get all the nuances and stuff, because we don't just be giving surface table shit on this channel. But yeah, I will definitely be keeping abreast of this story as it develops. I don't really need to go through y'all comments or whatever, because I was posting it throughout the thing, because I thought it'd be entertaining to actually show what a lot of people that are watching this, that's in the comments, is saying in real time. But yeah, this is definitely something I'm going to have to keep abreast of. Hopefully he did tell other people what had happened and be able to use them to, if it does go to court, they'll have to come in and testify on Mario's behalf. And I hope that there's some kind of receipt that's around that, where, not just that little one-sided text message that Tyler Perry put out there, just so that way he gets to show, like, yeah, it's a money grab. Oh yeah, it's this, that, and the other. My thing is, y'all need to explain, how is it that you are a person in power and have this studio and everything, and some extra, because that's what he was, frat boy number 10. Like, you wouldn't even have a name, but this dude's got your number, and he's able to have these personal text messages with you and ask you for money and all those other things. Like, you have to explain all of that. And my thing is this: it may be a money grab, sir, but you're gonna have to explain the fact of, like, did you deny any of the stuff this young man is saying? All of y'all coming out saying is that it's a money grab. Okay, but how do you explain? You need to explain the other stuff. And maybe he'll have to have his Kevin Spacey moment, which would be, that's the one time you're going to have to admit that you are full on rhymes with maggot, when your back is up against the wall and you've been accused of harassing someone of the same gender, which is what Kevin Spacey had to do when all the accusations came out about him, which pissed off a lot of the community, because here you go being an abuser, and now you're trying to equate that with being gay, which has always been sort of a stereotype within our community that we don't want no parts of. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? We definitely, it's going to be, it's still a relatively new story. There's only been a couple of days since this tea has come out. I'm sure that we will be breaking this down along with the Derek Dixon story. We got to find out what's going on with that, because Derek Dixon, his stuff been quiet too. The only time we heard from Derek was we heard from his story, and then I think the Charlie Kirk thing happened, so that overshadowed everything. And so now we have this thing coming out, and now it's the holidays, so people aren't really like engulfed in the gossip and everything that's going on with that. So I guess at the top of 2026, we're going to really dive deeper into this, because I'm sure more tea is going to come out, and I'm sure, and I would not be surprised if there'll be other men that will be coming out, accusing Tyler of this. And it all can't be no goddamn money grab, Miss Mama. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.